Hello, everybody, and welcome to October, or should I more accurately say Hacktober. This is the beginning of Hacktoberfest. I'm assuming if you found this video, you're either connected to Roc or Hacktober, but fundamentally, Hacktober is all about trying to give back to open source projects, maybe making your first commit, all that type of fun stuff of like trying to contribute to all of this great software that we get in the open source world, often for free from people who are just passionate about it. And so the main goal of Hacktober, if you're going to participate, is about trying to, oh, my camera's in the worst spot, but is about trying to submit a handful of PRs to open source projects that are part of Hacktoberfest. You have to register first, then you submit a handful of PRs. It looks like I think they want people to submit at least 4 PRs. And then once you've done that, you'll get a cool little badge. The only constraint is the PRs have to be submitted sometime in October and to a Hacktoberfest project. And as I said, this is just a great way to contribute to open source. And for a lot of these repos that are doing Hacktoberfest, there are people that are trying to support and help and guide more people that are willing to mentor. In my case, unsurprisingly, for any of you that know me, Roc is the project that I'm going to ask you to try and contribute to. Roc is a programming language. It's pure. It's functional. It fundamentally is trying to bring an Elm-like experience to more areas. It has a very interesting take on certain things, including its platform and application split. But fundamentally, it's a fledgling programming language. I've been working on it as a core maintainer for about 4 years. But a lot of people have been putting a lot of energy in this for many years now, and it's starting to get to the point where it really can be something usable, something bigger that can start being used for real projects. I mean, there's still big breaking changes to come, but Roc is in a really good place, a really strong place. And so I think it's a great time to jump into the community, try and learn some things, try and contribute, right? There's so much work to be done and so many things from small to big that you can work on and help with. If you haven't done anything with Roc yet, I would advise you just first start with a tutorial. Look at this language, see if it's for you, see if it's something you're interested in. And even if you don't think the language is necessarily for you to use, it still might be an awesome project for you to contribute to. Roc as a project is written mostly in Rust. It actually is a quite large compiler. I haven't checked the size in a while, but last I checked, it was about 300,000 lines of Rust. So this is not some toy little compiler. This is a very large behemoth of an effort done by many different people. And so take a look at this, see if you're interested in anything from the tutorial, and even if you're not, if you want to take a crack at using some Rust, or on the other hand, another fun young language that Roc interacts with a lot is Zig. Roc uses Zig for all of its standard library, its built-ins, and so the core kernel of what Roc depends on is actually Zig. So even if you don't want to touch or look at Rust at all, you can look into Zig as another way to contribute to Roc. And so I highly implore that you come along, come look at this tutorial, get a feel for Roc, and then hop right into the community. Our community is over here on Zulip. It's roc.zulipchat.com. And fundamentally, I think this is the core place you should come and you should ask questions. If you're new overall and you just have any questions whatsoever, there's this beginner's chat. You know, you can make a new topic in here and chat about whatever you're interested in. You know, whatever that topic is, you can set your topic and begin conversing when you have questions, when you're just trying to learn, get a feel for the place. I also highly advise, if you're new to Roc, go ahead and throw something into intros. You know, say why you're here, you know, whether it's just Hacktoberfest or anything else, come make a message. We're always happy to have new people. You don't have to be a contributor. You can just be someone who lurks, but it's always great to introduce yourself and find like-minded people who are working on various different projects. But specifically, this is Roctoberfest we're talking about. I mean, Hacktoberfest, but, you know, from the Roc side of it. And for Hacktoberfest, Roc is one of those projects, and we're trying to label label issues that are good for beginners to get into. We don't always have the best job of handling that, but fundamentally, if you come and you go to the contributors channel down here, contributing, and you say, hey, I'm new, I'm interested in this stuff, is there anything I can work on? We will help guide you to issues, and we can try to find issues that are at the right level for you. Whether you're a total beginner, never even touched Rust before, or whether you're like a Rust expert who's, just interested in working on a compiler, or someone who probably can figure out a lot of this by yourself. We have lots of issues from super simple to super complicated that touch little systems, big systems. We have, the full stack. We have our own dev backend that even is generating assembly, and that has lots of projects and work that could be done for it. And so like from the front end parsing through type checking, monomorphization, all of these compiler passes to the standard library implementation, adding new functionality to the standard library, some of the core kernels in Zig, there's a whole swath of potential work that someone on the Roc side can help you find. And so I highly advise when you get here, even if there's not a good first issue that calls out to you as something that you want to do, definitely chat and just ask questions and say what you're interested in, and we'll try to find something that's really well suited for you. On top of that, there are a lot of people who are willing to mentor for Hacktoberfest, whether that's just direct DMing and chatting back and forth, or actually getting on a video call with people, such that you can discuss various things and really dive into things, either you leading and them, being kind of your pair partner buddy, or maybe them leading so they can really give you a tour, or just literally a tour of the code. This is, as I said, a giant code base. And so there's a lot of to figure out from various different places. And even if not everybody is yet on this list, just ask and contributing for help. And probably people will jump up and say, hey, I'm available, in the evenings, Pacific time. And so if there's some time that overlaps with that, we can set up a call and we can meet, and I can help you get started on whatever Roc project there happens to be that you're working on. On top of that, though there are no dates yet, there are contributor fireside chats we're planning to do. We're going to get a handful of the top contributors together. Don't even have to be top contributors, but a handful of contributors together, and get them chatting just about the state of Roc, where we're going, the different pieces, and what it takes to learn and contribute to Roc. So that's another thing that hopefully we'll have more concrete dates for soon, and we can share lots of interesting things with everybody over the month. Finally, there are some people who plan to stream. I am planning to stream. I always get a little anxious about it, but I guess I'm committing now. I'm planning to do some streams over Hacktoberfest, where I'll probably pick a few issues and try to work through them, maybe work with someone, or just do general contributing discussions, whatever is most useful. Maybe what turns out to be most useful is that I really just need to go over the structure of the compiler for everybody, so you guys can get a better idea of what you need to look at if you're trying to contribute. If you have any ideas for that, feel free to leave them in the comments or mention them to me on Zulip. I'm totally open for ideas. But I'm planning to do at least a couple of streams over the month of October in order to try and just promote the Hacktoberfest feeling and try and help more people get involved and get a better understanding of what all goes into the compiler. Finally, as I said, good first issues is probably a fine place to start. I still think it is highly, highly useful to just come to contributing, maybe in casual conversations or new contributors, or make your own topic and ask about what you're interested, so that we can give you some more targeted advice. But you can also just come through the good first issues here, which some are better first issues than others for sure. But you can come down here and say, hey, this sounds interesting to me. I want to try to add negation to our deck type with some special exceptions, right? That might be what needs to happen. You want to fix this bug. And if that's the case, you go in there, message on the bug to say that you're interested. And also, you can ask on the Zulip and say, hey, any tips, any advice? This is the issue I'm interested in. That's perfect to make a contributing chat. Oh, my AI is talking to me. Ignore that. Assistance distracting my train of thought. That's fine. But yeah, so there's lots of issues in here, and I think we've done a okay job at collecting a lot of good first issues. Some are really big, some are small. It's kind of hard to make these consistent. We don't have the most time in the world to organize everything. I'm sure there's lots of issues that don't even have this label that would be absolutely awesome issues as well. And so feel free to also just browse the general issues and see if there's anything that calls out to you as interesting. Sometimes it's better for something to be interesting than for it to be simple per se. And so that's just a general note. There's lots of different things to work on. We're not always the most organized about every single piece, but we fundamentally meet at the Zulip. That's where we discuss things, we chat things, we figure out what's going on, what's important, where we try to help people. And there's lots of people who are willing to help you on the Zulip. One other note with the Zulip, I believe some people will be putting, Hacktoberfest mentor or ask me anything in their description. And those are people who, please just reach out to them. Send them a DM if you have questions. Of course, if your question can be public, just throw it on the public chat. A lot of people will be willing to comment and help. But there are also people that are willing to put extra time into DMs and guiding people and whatnot. So do look out for that. And one final piece I want to talk about is part of this giant project of Roc is all of the tutorials, documentations, blogs, guides, etc. Obviously, some of that doesn't quite fit into Hacktoberfest, right? Like, you can totally write blogs about Roc for October and try to make awesome tutorials and blogs. Those wouldn't technically fall under Hacktoberfest, to my understanding, but they're still really useful. So if you want to do that, do that. That's more valuable than Hacktoberfest if that's how you want to contribute to Roc. But otherwise, you don't have to contribute code per se. You can contribute clarifications to the docs. You can contribute things that help with understanding, with naming, with people from different communities to understand our code, making things easier to understand. And so a lot of these things are in the Roc repo, and they also count as contributions, even if it is a simple typo fix or whatever else, or grammatical changes to help make things better. So do realize that there's a whole realm of things that can be part of these contributions. One thing I need to double check is if our main two platforms, Basic CLI and Basic Web Server, are participating in Hacktober. If not, we should make sure to add them because they also are a great source of lots of different issues and beginner projects and things that people can work on. Fundamentally, Basic CLI is kind of like the core framework for writing any sort of command line application in Roc, and Basic Web Server is the core existing framework for any sort of web server. And so those will also be great things for people to contribute to. Those are both also written in Rust. But overall, yeah, come say hello, come join us for Hacktoberfest. I think it's going to be a great time. We're hopefully going to get a lot of people contributing, trying different things, discussing, and also lots of content to help people learn and grow. I think there's always more stuff to learn. I've been contributing to Roc for 4 years, and there are still parts of the compiler that I really don't understand, and I would love to dig into more and to understand better. But there are also parts that I wrote from scratch, and they're like, the back of my hand. I know exactly how they work. Though most of those, actually, they keep growing as other people help and contribute. And so I don't even still have a perfect understanding of them, but they're still awesome things to work on and contribute to. And so whatever you're interested in, whatever you're passionate about, whatever you want to learn over this October, try and ask about it on the Zulip. Try to go to the contributing chat and say that's what you want to learn, and we'll try to figure out if we can find an experience of like the right sort of contributions and PRs for you to be able to do that. So that's Hacktoberfest. Please come contribute to Roc, and even if you don't want to contribute, please come chat and come use the language, come learn a bit. We're still in our early days. There's a lot of growing, but I think we have an awesome time ahead of us. That's just going to be fundamentally delightful in the coming years as Roc becomes a much more production-ready and powerful language. Huge changes to come. I didn't actually show this yet, but there's lots of planned breaking changes and big pieces in Roc still. So we're definitely not stable. We don't even have a numbered release yet. But we're getting closer. And I think with some of these core changes that are to come, we really are going to have a language that is ready for the masses very soon. So come join us, come contribute. We're always happy to help, to teach, whatever you guys need. So reach out, and I look forward to seeing you on the Zulip.